Good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio to record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. And as always, I'm so glad to have you along with me. It's not really snowy yet. It snowed a little bit overnight here. Hey, Craig, good morning. How are you, buddy? Are you home or are you downstate today? Cliff, good morning. Nice to have you along with us as well. Looks like things are going to get a little dicey later. Hey, Davina. I posted the picture of Paul and your nephew fishing with Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters. Looks like they had a great day. Good morning, Donnie Mae. How are you? Ross, buddy. Nice to have you along with us as well. Carl, good morning. Appreciate you joining us on this edition of Behind the Mic. Cliff saw his first dead skunk yesterday. I've seen a couple now, which means springtime is not far away, right? Just got to get through these next few bumps in the road. Craig's going to the SCI in Nashville tomorrow. You flying or driving, Craig? Raber Bay, how are things in the eastern UP? Is it still wintertime or does it feel like it wants to be springtime? David, appreciate it. Mike, man, you're a fishing machine, aren't you? Your fishing activities have been on fire. Robert, appreciate you being with us. Voted 7. John, what'd you find out about your taxes yet? You joining us in Ohio? Driving, hopefully. Raber Bay says lots of ice and lots of fish. Excellent. Coons and possums, too. Jason checking in from the Ford Dearborn Truck Plant. Good morning, Jason. How are you? Thanks for putting out those fine, beautiful vehicles. All these trucks today are just nice, aren't they? I love my ZR2 Chevy Silverado from Garber, but man, you got to love the Dodges. You got to love the Fords. This Saturday, you're doing taxes. Then you'll know for sure. Excellent, John. Bernie, good morning. How you feeling, buddy? Are you recuperating, recovering, doing all right, I hope, buddy? Time for coffee and an Arturo Fuente. Coffee, and on the way in, I had a Drew Estates Fat Bottom Betty. What? 13 degrees. Sam, first of all, Sam, I was talking to your dad. No, I did not recognize you when I was in the store the other day. I apologize for that. You look like a different guy without that cool beard. But this is interesting. The next 3 days, so you're leaving Jay's, Sam? I will miss you. Good luck on your next venture, whatever it is. And yeah, I do want to come up and check out the crossbows, but it won't be in the next 3 days. I'm really looking at either a Raven, probably a 10-point. Bernie, glad to hear that you're doing well. Yeah, they're all beautiful. Oh, wise bearded one. You give me way too much credit there, Andrew. And how did it turn out, John? Did the mount turn out nice? Brian, good morning. How are you, buddy? I'm still very curious. Hey, Ed, how you doing? Still very curious where Sam is going if you're leaving Jay's. Ed, I look forward to seeing you guys here in a couple weeks. Well, a week and a half at our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. This week, I did a real nice event last night in Saginaw County. In fact, Captain Mark Pananzek was there for the Fordney Club of Saginaw County. They had a fundraiser for youth athletics in Saginaw County. And listen to this. They gave away more than 50 guns. Guns, can you believe it? Those vile, violent, deadly tools of the devil. And not one bad situation happened. It's not the guns, folks. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure out it's not the guns. Anyway, Mark, I appreciate your generosity. Adam, good morning. How are you? Hey, Joe, how you doing? Bruce said the crappies are spawning. I'm glad you hear your mount turned out well, John. Hey, Angie, how are you? Yeah, Denise and I want to head south too, but I got a lot of things I got to take care of business-wise. Then maybe we can head south and do a little golfing. Although I just found out I'm on jury duty for the month of April. Dang, better April than July. Going down the road a mile. Jack's Truck Center, Peterbilt. Well, good luck to you, Sam. I will miss you at Jay's. Hey, Tony, how are you, my fellow skinny water brother? Can't wait to get back out there. Mike is back home in Michigan. Glad to have you here, buddy. Tom's out in the field, all fanned out there, getting ready for us. Paul, good morning. Tony, you're not going to be at our Trinity dinner, I understand, but Brad Dupuis, Mr. Angler's Quest himself, will be there. I'll check on the status of my boat. My boat is done, but they wanted to make a couple of cosmetic changes. For my picture purposes. Caught 11 walleye on Saginaw Bay on Monday, some bigger walleye. Nice, Mike. John's got jury duty in June. Like I said, I'd rather have jury duty in April than June. Yeah, it's interesting, Ed. The state legislature is jumping on our governor's bandwagon. It is it's the cool thing to do right now. It's the socially responsible thing to do right now is to jump on the bandwagon, the anti-gun bandwagon, because of things that happen from people who are mentally insane who just happen to choose guns instead of a hammer or something else. So yeah, we're going to get a lot more. I was saying last night as they were giving away the AR-15s, get them now while you can. Get them while you can. Hey, Kevin, good morning. Brent, Tracy, how you doing? How you doing, Trace? Lots of boating accidents with all your guns. I don't know what that means. Hey, good morning, Cap. Right back at you. Look forward to seeing you next Saturday. By the way, our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction is at the Great Hall this year. It's not at Bay Valley. It's at the Great Hall in Midland. Do I know if the Saginaw River is fished the same as the Detroit River for walleye? I will tell you this, Davina, that Captain Mark Pananzak has taken some good fish trolling the Saginaw River, but there will be a lot of people jigging the Saginaw River as well. Not too many hand lining, I'm sure. Primarily a jigging river, but you can get fish trolling out of there as well. Oh, Lloyd, sorry to hear that. Bruce, I figured you were down in Florida making a comment about the crappie spawning. So what else? I'm in the studio to record the last radio show for the month of February. And of course, just like last week, we're waiting on a snowstorm. I have seen some skunks. I have not seen any red-winged blackbirds yet, though, although I still have reports of them down south. Jerry says, good morning. Beautiful morning on Cranberry Lake in New York. Still 16 inches of ice chasing northerns. Good luck to you. Corey, going to Burt Lake this weekend on a veterans trip. Corey, did you decide you're going to Ohio with us or not? I'm thinking probably you're not going to be able to make that work. And I'm disappointed, but I understand. Sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. The geese on the pond in the backyard are starting to do their pre-mating ritual where they stake out their territory for their nests and they chase each other around. Goofy birds, big flying rats is all they are. Wayne, how are things in Vegas? Always good in Vegas, isn't it? Jim saw 5 dead skunks Monday in his travels. Good morning, Scott. How are you? My name is Mike Avery. This is another edition of Behind the Mic, as I'm here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio to record this week's show. The goose fence will go up in about a month or so, John. Maybe a little longer. Ed says perch fishing has been good on Hubbard Lake. Took home 29 to 12-inch perch last Saturday. Ed, that's not good. That's great, in my opinion. Don't forget Outdoorama going on this weekend in Novi at the Suburban Collection Showplace. It starts tomorrow, runs through Sunday. I was hoping to get down there tomorrow. I don't know, with the weather being the way it is, maybe not. Maybe I'll run down there on Friday. Wish was back in the Eastern UP chasing pike with a spear, Joe. I love the spearing videos. I don't know if you posted one, Joe, but listen, Joe and your fellow spearers, I love the pike spearing videos. Please share them with me, and I will share them on the page. Hey, good morning, Julie. How are you? Some events coming up next Friday the 3rd. I'll be at First Baptist Church in Clare. And then Saturday, March 4th, our Trinity Monitor dinner that is sold out, by the way. So if you don't have tickets, you're not going to get tickets. But we will have an online auction that'll kick off a week from tomorrow. Even if you're not there, you can bid on such things as dart and crossbow, wreck broadheads, a youth hunt at Scott Hand's Family Farm in Montcalm County. Also, a VersaSkins suit from Paul Perone of VersaSkins as well. That will be an online auction. I will have the website for that and the details next Wednesday night on Wednesday Night Live. Speaking of Wednesday Night Live, Wednesday, the 22nd of March, we're going to do a Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch. We haven't done one there since before COVID, but we always have a great turnout there. Would love to see you there. More details on that coming up, but mark it on your calendar. Wednesday, March 22nd, a Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack Restaurant, the Forward Corporation Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch. Good morning, Jerry. Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic. Davina asked me who's on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this week, and that's why I'm here in the studio. My kickoff guest this week is Rich Krazan of Michigan-based Killer Food Plots. With a reminder, March is traditionally thought of as the month for frost seeding for your food plots. We'll talk about that and more with Rich. Then Jason Graham of Send It Charters and Linwood Beach Marina talking about a real big event they have going on next Saturday at Linwood Beach. If you're a big water troller, you will want to know more about that. And then we'll wrap it up with Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News. Tom is on his way this morning to Novi to set up for the Outdoor Rama show. In our second hour, Vance Gowell, if you are on my Facebook page, you saw a story that Vance sent me about a pup that he gave to a buddy, an acquaintance. The guy didn't want the dog anymore, so rather than give it back to Vance, he just let it go out in the wild. Vance saw trail cam pictures of that hound, realized it was his hound. He started to hunt or trap the animal. He trapped him, rehabilitated the dog, and then they took him bobcat hunting, and the dog got a big bobcat. So Vance is going to talk about that story and more. Christina Kennedy from the On the Ground, she's from MUCC, talks about their On the Ground program. They've been doing it for 10 years now. The Ask Avery segment, I don't know. We'll see. There's something I've been working on that I still don't have an answer on, so I might tap dance through that segment. Mike said it was an amazing story. Yeah, Ed. Yeah, Ed, as a dog guy, you're going to like to hear this story. Ross, you're going to enjoy hearing this story. That's he's my kickoff guest in the second hour. Then in our third hour, a guy you love to hear on the show, Richard P. Smith. He's talking about this move by the DNR and NRC, the proposal to cut back on the number of bear tags. Richard, as you can imagine, is not in favor of that. We'll talk about that and much more. And of course, we'll wrap it up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. David is catering our big Trinity Monitor event at the Great Hall Saturday, March 4th. It is an amazing story. It's a really good story. Vance is, I'll be honest, I've never met Vance. I knew of him through Gabe Van Wormer. He's a friend of Gabe's. Vance has become a friend of mine, although I've never met the guy yet. I will meet him Saturday, March 4th. He and his wife and another couple are coming down for our Trinity Monitor wild game dinner. So I will look forward to seeing Vance there in person. But it's a really cool story. It's a great story. What kind of a person, though, gets a puppy given to him and then decides they don't want it and they just abandon it? You know, they just go out in the woods and let it go. Come on. The dog basically became feral. There we go, Scott. Scott Hand. I was just talking about Scott, buddy of mine. By the way, Scott won the first Angler Quest Owners Tournament on Saginaw Bay last summer. There's another tourney coming up June 22nd of this year. But I was saying, Scott, a good friend of mine, great guy, a quarter cover and helmet enclosure going on the Angler Quest as we speak. Heated area for the boat operator is important. Scott is giving away a youth hunt at his Hand Family Farm in Montcalm County. I have hunted that farm. It's a beautiful piece of property. And he is allowing a youth hunter to come in there for the youth season of next September. That's one of our online auction items. Good morning, Uncle Johnny. How are you, buddy? All right, Ross, have a good day. Go sell some GMCs. What happened to the dog? The dog was recovered by its original owner, Vance Gowell. He saw trail cam pictures of the dog after it had become feral, and he trapped it. He recovered the animal. He rehabilitated the animal. He went hunting with the animal, the dog, and they took a big Tom bobcat. So it's a great story. Speaking of great stories, here's what I brought in the studio this morning. Michigan brand Cajun style smoked beef sticks. Pat, are they good? Good. Pat gives them a thumbs up. Charlie will be in here soon. We'll see what he thinks of them. Davina says she finally got some Michigan brand Mike Avery Hunter sticks at a gas station in Wellston. Doing an audio check here for Pat, checking not this microphone, but this microphone here, our official broadcast microphone. Hey, John, good morning. How are you? I enjoyed our conversation here, our email conversation. I'd love to get together and see you. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I don't know when we're coming down, if at all, but I'd like to be down there for the outdoor Rama. And, John, what do you think? I'm glad you're healing up well. What do you think about joining us in Ohio again this year? We do have an opening. That's hunting with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters, October 16th through the 20th. It's one of our live auction items for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner. Also, here's something else. Matt Schock. Matt, we were going to put your hunt as an online auction, and the folks at Trinity said, no, let's make that one of our live auction items. So, Matt, I know you'll be there. I appreciate your generosity, and we will auction off your coyote hunt as one of our live auction items, and I'll be sure to ask you about that at the event. Just sitting around waiting for our half-inch of ice and staring out the window at the boat. Ed says, maybe your wife, Denise, can win some of those Michigan brand products. See, one of the items we're auctioning off is a year's supply of Michigan brand meats. Last year, my wife, Denise, bought it. I said, hon, you realize I got kind of an in, and if we want free stuff for Michigan brand, we can get it. I try not to take advantage of that. But so no, she already has ordered. We bought 3 tickets. Okay. We bought 3 tables full of tickets this year. And the tickets are $75 a piece. So I bought 3 tables full of tickets. I said, hon, let's keep the online, let's keep the live auction bidding a little bit slower this year, huh? John checking in from a beach in Cancun. Let me know if you get any snow today. Rub it in there. Ken Dalton, the pheasant, Mr. Pheasant himself, the guy who hunted the Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative. Ken, good morning. How are you, buddy? My name is Mike Avery. This is Behind the Mic. I'm getting ready here in about 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes to record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. But we got a few more minutes to talk. Saw a dead skunk on the road this morning. Spring is near. They are. It is. And the skunks are out. I've seen skunks, still no red-winged blackbirds, but the geese on the pond behind the house are starting to get real active. They're getting ready for their nesting season, and that's another sign that spring is just around the corner. Galveston, Texas. Ed, good morning. How are things in Galveston? Probably nicer than they are here in Michigan. As I look out the window right now, we got a 1/4 inch of snow last night, but the forecast calls for Armageddon here. The world's going to come to an end starting about noon and going to tomorrow morning, if you trust the forecasts. You know, every storm is a major event, isn't it? Nothing is normal anymore, right? All right, Bernie, have a good day and stay healthy, buddy. Continue to recuperate and recover. Yeah, everything is a major event or a major news event, but when you have people that need to fill time on the air, and I know that feeling, right? I know what it's like to have to fill time on the air. But good morning, John. Eli in the Wolverine State says it's raining ice here. Eli, you're up in the U, aren't you? No, I've asked you this question before. I have you confused with somebody else. Amy said, good morning. It's in the 80s here. Well, thank you for that. That's right, Scott. You need to get to the store right away and buy some eggs and milk and bread because the world is going to end here shortly. Ed says they're calling for 14 inches of snow up north. Ed, I will be shocked if you get it, but if they're calling for 14 inches of snow, you know we're going to get some, right? I mean, you have to. But will the world come to an end today? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. And if it does, we're all heading to better things. Southeast Michigan. That's right. That's my confusion. And you've told me this before, Eli, and I apologize. You live in Southeast Michigan, but your camp is in the Central U. Thank you. And you know what, Eli, I apologize, but I'll probably ask you that again. And I'm so sorry. I will probably ask you that again. Oh, let's see. What else is on my list here? My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to me with questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, your Ask Avery questions. The best way to get them to me, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Roger says, let the snow fly. Might as well, Roger, because there's nothing we can do about it, right? I mean, it's either going to be icy or it's going to be snowy or it's going to be nothing. There's nothing we can do about it except go to the store and get lots of milk and bread and eggs and bottled water because you're going to need that, right? You're going to need that when the snowstorm hits. You're going to need bread enough for several weeks. You're going to need eggs enough for several weeks, and they're not cheap anymore. And you're going to need milk and bottled water because Lord knows we don't know how to survive a 12-hour snowstorm here in Michigan. So we better do what the news stations say, right? We better go out and make sure we have a blanket in the back of the car, and we better make sure we have food and water in the back of the car, and make sure you've got an emergency blanket in the back of the car because you're probably going to get stranded out in the middle of nowhere driving in this monster snowstorm because you've never been through a snowstorm before. And if you don't get it, I'm being sarcastic and facetious, okay? Ruben, good morning. How are things in Colorado? I bet the drive was bad. Okay, 20 seconds. So I better start a clock here. 10 seconds. So you guys are serious about this. Okay, a lot of things going on behind the scenes here right now. You might hear the guys trying to, and go. Charlie, when you get a second to breathe, look what I brought you. Pat says they're pretty good.
I don't know what has changed. Jonathan said he said I always thought you guys recorded a program. We never did, but we went to the back and
I'm watching these guys figure some things out, make sure we're all good. We record the show and then we do a backup, redundant recording of the show in case our primary one goes down. Hey, Mike, how are you? All right, my friends, I got to change focus here. I'm not going to be able to directly interact with you. I've got to record the radio show. I'm going to talk about a lot of the same topics we already have been. I hope you can join me tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan. Have you figured it out by now? This is a radio show, and I'm proud to be doing a 3-hour Michigan-based outdoor-related radio show. You know, I've done a lot of different things in my career. Started out in television news, which was fine. It was wonderful. It was great. It was exciting. And it was, at the time, it was pretty fulfilling. And I thought, you know what, I'll probably spend my career doing this. But after you do it for a few years, I guess probably like any job, you know, I mean, I've never worked in any other business other than the outdoors and broadcasting. So I have no frame of reference other than my frame of reference. But I suspect that just about every job, after you've done it for a few years, gets a little bit old. And television news became really old. And I was very, very glad to be out of it and very glad to branch off into an outdoor television show. And that was a lot of fun. That was fulfilling. But man, it got to be very expensive. And it was a lot of work. And it just didn't make sense after about 25 years. Imagine that. After about 25 years of doing it, it didn't make sense anymore. So I went over to the radio side of things. I'd been toying with an outdoor radio show while I was doing the television show. And through a series of events and God's intervention, it just became clear to me that television was not my future anymore than that outdoor radio was. And it's been a wonderful ride. I've been doing this for a long, long time now. I don't plan to retire anytime soon. I mean, you know, my plans are not the big guys' plans. I did get a little dose of reality the other day, though. I had set up my Michigan DNR hunting and fishing licenses for auto renew. And I thought, well, that's good. It's easy. I won't forget. I'll get my licenses. I got an email from the DNR the other day. They say, hey, Mr. Avery, we've canceled your auto renew. And I thought, what's that all about? Did I say something on the air to make the DNR mad? And they're going to prohibit me from buying licenses from now on? No, they wouldn't do that. I got an email from the DNR saying we've canceled your auto renew because we we realized that you're turning 65 this year and you'll be eligible for a senior. I can't even say this, a senior discount on your licenses. So we figured you wouldn't want to auto renew at the higher rate when you can get a discounted rate. Oh. As a matter of principle, I might just refuse the senior licenses and buy the licenses at the regular price. No, I probably won't do it. I can still get my fishing licenses at a standard price, but when it comes time to get my deer tags in the fall, I'll be eligible for the senior discount. How did that happen? And no, I'm not retiring. I'm not retiring. Although I think some people would like to see me retire, that's not going to happen. So we're recording today. I'm recording the last show for the month of February. And just like last week, as we're here in the studio midweek, we're looking at a forecasted snowstorm. Now, will we get some snow? I suspect we will. But Mother Nature, she's always in control. I love this, that in today's advanced and technologically advanced world, that where we have control over so many daily things, we click our phone and it comes to life. We press the keys on the keyboard and their computer comes to life, or the iPad or whatever. We have a world of immediate gratification these days. When you deal with Mother Nature and the outdoor world, that goes away. We no longer have control. We are at the mercy of something more important, bigger than we are. And I like that. I think it keeps a frame of reference that we all need. But even, regardless of how much snow or ice this storm brings, we are moving the right direction. I did finally see a dead skunk in the road, and that's one of my signs that springtime is coming. Still no red-winged blackbirds in my neck of the woods, but I'm getting lots of reports of those things from downstate. I do notice the geese on the pond in the backyard are getting ready for nesting season. They're becoming, if they can be even more aggressive and obnoxious, they're doing it right now. They're chasing each other around the pond. You can tell they're setting up their spots where they're going to nest. I do find this interesting that they nest in the same spots every year. They'll pick out the same spot on the side of the hill in the pond, and that's where they will nest. And they have for the last 8 years since we've lived there. But as more of those big flying rats decide they want to call the pond home, they start moving into other areas. I'm hoping that they'll finally just say, you know what, this isn't worth it, and they'll move on. I just don't. I get it. If you're a goose hunter, you love those critters, those creatures. But if you're me and they want to come up in the yard and make a mess, I have no use for them whatsoever. So probably in about another month now, maybe 6 weeks, it'll be time to put the goose fence up, the goose barricade, to keep those big flying rats out of the backyard. So what else is going on? Steelhead fishing across the state is really starting to heat up. I've had some beautiful pictures of folks fishing steelhead. That's a magnificent fish. Springtime steelhead in the rivers is just a riot. It's something I used to do a lot. I used to spend a lot of time up on the AuSable from shore, in waders, in cold water, casting sometimes spawn bags, but little corkies, spinning glows with a bead above it. This is old school, right? This is a long time ago. Quarter casting upstream and letting it bounce along the bottom. That's a real art form. And even though I did it quite a bit, I never really became an expert at it. But you know me, I don't pretend to be an expert at any kind of hunting and fishing. But I then eventually discovered drift boats, and it was my buddy and my mentor, Pete Jonas, who taught me about these things. He said, hey, listen, why are we standing on the side of the river, freezing, dunking spawn or, plastic beads? Why don't we sit in a drift boat and work our way through all these holes that we can't reach from shore, and put out some rods, with some crankbaits behind us, and let the current do the work. So Pete would row and I would row, or we'd go out with a guide and they would run the boat. And man, did I find that was a very effective and efficient and fun and easy way to hook into beautiful springtime river steelhead. I haven't done that in a long time. In fact, I haven't done steelhead fishing or salmon fishing much at all since I kind of fell in love with walleye. They don't fight as much, but they're in my backyard, and that makes it makes it easy to concentrate on those fish. So what else is going on? Outdoor Rama. I never know whether they say Outdoor Rama or Outdoor Rama, but it's Outdoor Rama is going on this weekend at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. That's a mouthful. It used to be called the Novi Expo Center. Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. I hope to make it down there this weekend. When will depend on the weather to see what happens. But if we're down there and you see me, hey, say hi. Love to see you, shake your hand, and shoot the breeze for a couple of minutes. Next Friday, the 3rd, I'll be at the First Baptist Church in Clare. An invitation from my buddy Bill Hahn of Jay's Sporting Goods. He's invited me to speak there. I'm looking forward to that. And of course, next Saturday, March 4th, our big Trinity Monitor wild game dinner and auction. It is sold out. You can't get tickets for it. However, we will be doing several silent auction items online. So even if you're not at the event, you can join us there. I will have details on that next Wednesday night. This Wednesday night coming up for Wednesday Night Live. I'll give you the website and the details on how to be involved in that. Speaking of Wednesday Night Live, Wednesday night, March 22nd, we'll be doing another Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch. That's a Forward Corporation Lumberjack Restaurant. We have not done a Wednesday Night Live there since before COVID, so it's been a while. It's time to get back up there. I always enjoy our events there. We have a great turnout. Consider this your personal invitation. You will not need tickets to get in the door, but you will need reservations just to make sure we know how many people are coming. The Lumberjack does fit a lot of people, and we're looking for a great crowd there. That's Wednesday, March 22nd at 7 o'clock at the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch. Love to see you there. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I sincerely want to hear from you. Send me your comments, your questions, your criticisms, your Ask Avery questions to Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Coming up after the break here on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, Rich Krazan of Killer Food Plots will join me to talk about the month of March coming up being the time to do some frost seeding of your food plots. Then Jason Graham of Linwood Beach Marina talks about a big event they're having there at the marina next Saturday. Then Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News checks in as he's setting up for the Outdoor Rama show. In hour number 2, a story that's going to get your attention. It's from Vance Gowell. He talks about a pup that he gave to a guy. The guy abandoned the dog. Vance found out about it. The dog was running feral in the Pigeon River Forest or in the area there. Vance was able to trap that dog, rehabilitate the dog, went hunting with the dog, and they took a big Tom Bobcat. You're going to love this story. Christina Kennedy of MUCC talks about their On the Ground program. And in hour number 3, Richard P. Smith is not happy with the DNR and the NRC's proposal to cut the number of Michigan bear tags this year. We'll talk about that and more. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. That's all coming up this week right here on Outdoor Magazine. All right, my friends, have a good day. Make sure you get your water and your bread and your eggs, because apparently the world's coming to an end. I think you'll probably survive, and I probably will too. And if we all make it tonight, till tonight, why don't you join me tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Have a good day, my friends.